Hi, Algebra 1 folks, this is Ms. Strong, and I am here to give you a demo video for Homework 1. We'll be doing demo videos for each of your homework assignments throughout the semester, and in order for you to get the most out of these demo videos, we need you to go and read and take notes on the sections that we cover before you watch the demo videos. So you should have already read and taken some notes on Unit 1, Section 1, Part 1 before you watch this video. You should have begun your post and say hello. You're just going in there and saying hi to your friends. You should have read these sections. When you finish watching this demo video today, you should be ready to go and start Homework 1. So let's get going. Which expression are you? We often talk about our expressions as being what we show on our face. Are we at ease? Are we hating? Are we just kind of mild, aggressive? Where are you today? I am very, very happy, and I'm not seeing that one on here. Here we go. I am happy and amused. I'm so glad to get started back in school. This is what I call the fun part. An expression in mathematics is when we write numbers and letters. These letters we call variables. They change, they vary. And in math, when we want to change a number, we put in a variable to take its place. And then we can pop in and out a number to change that variable whenever we want to. So an expression is when we have numbers and letters working together with no equal sign. This is an expression. As soon as I put an equal sign, so I say equals 7, now I have an equation. And that makes a lot of sense, I think. An equation has an equal sign. An expression does not. So let's see if we can change some words that we use every day into expressions. I know that you know all of the words that are on here, and I wrote this list for you just to kind of have to go back and refer to. You know that when I say all together, I must be adding. When I say less than, I must be subtracting. I hope you have these words down, and they're the ones that you're going to see a lot. The word sum means to add. The word difference, the difference between my age and your age, I say a lot. We would subtract to find the difference between our ages. Product is an answer that you get when you multiply. So when you're asked to find a product, you're asked to multiply. And quotient is what you get when you divide. So those are the words that you might not be using in your everyday life, or it recognizes that they go with the operations that we do in mathematics. By the way, that word operation, the things we do in math, we add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Those are our 4 mathematical operations. We want to take words, everyday words, and write them as mathematical expressions. Once we can write them as mathematical expressions, we can tell computers to do whatever we want to with them. So a computer doesn't understand the word 5 more than a number. A computer will understand 5 more than a number. And we can put any variable we want, any letter we want. We just choose X in algebra a lot. I'll try to use different letters. Just to remind you, we can use any letter we want. So that's all we're asking you to do. We're asking you to take those words and write them as mathematical expressions with math terms. Let's see if we can do number 2. 2 times a number. Well, that's going to get us down here real quick, so let me just point this out. There are lots of ways to write times in algebra. We don't use an X to mean times anymore because we're often using an X to be a variable, and they can get confused easily. So we change and we start using a dot to mean times, and then we also use parentheses to say we're multiplying 2 things together. We can put either of the thing in parentheses or both things in parentheses. We can also just set them next to each other like this, and it means 4 times X. So if I need to say 2 times a number, what if I went 2 times, let's use W this time, 2 times some number, 2W. That's all we're looking for. That is an expression that says I'm going to multiply some number W times 2. Now put a little star by number 3 because it's one that confuses students. It's easy to get it backwards. I call most of these read and write. You see the number 5, you write the number 5. You see more than, you write more than as an addition sign. So you read and write in the same direction. But when you see the words less than, you have to kind of stop and pay attention. If I want to get 6 less than a number, I need to recognize that I'm taking 6 away from something. So 6 number is some number minus 6, not 6 minus some number. This is not the right answer. This one's backwards, and we will learn soon that you cannot flip subtraction. You can't go one direction and the other and get the same answer. So when it says less than, I say little bells should go off in your head, and you should go, okay, wait, I need to think about this one. 6 less means I need to subtract 6, and that would be the right direction to put that one in. Number 4, the quotient of 7 in a number. I hope you remember from the last slide that quotient means to divide, sorry. So the quotient of 7 and a number can be written this way. Notice that I wrote a fraction bar as my division sign. You could write 7 divided by a number, but we're not going to be using this sign very much at all in algebra. Mostly, we will use our division sign that is a fraction bar, and you'll notice on your calculator, it doesn't even type this division sign. It always types the fraction bar. Number 5, 6 minus 6 minus. Now this one goes this direction, unlike number 3, which says less than. That's why I say when you hear those words less than, you need to really kind of pay attention. So this one is still read and write, goes in the correct direction. 6 minus what, I ask myself? Minus the product. What's product? Multiplying, right? Yes. The product of what? The product of a number and 2. So I'm going to say 6 minus the product. Product of what? Some number and 2. And notice I wrote the 2 first. I could have said some number and 2. I could have written it this way, but we never do that. We always write the number first. And we're going to even have a word for that number soon. It's a coefficient. And I'll talk about that in a homework demo video coming up very soon. So 6 minus the product of a number and 2 looks like this. That's the mathematical expression I can write for these words. So let's see if we can evaluate some of those expressions. Oops, not ready to evaluate yet. We have to talk about one more thing. This word, the quantity. The quantity means that you're going to see parentheses in an expression. So when you see the word the quantity, you need to think parentheses, and I'll show you what I mean in these examples. This says 3 plus the quantity. As soon as I see the quantity, I go, oh, that means I need parentheses. The quantity of what? The quantity of 7 minus 2. So that's the mathematical expression that these words translate into. Let's try another one. 18 minus the quantity of 10 plus 4. Not too bad, right? Kind of reads and writes. It goes in the same direction. You simply need to know that when you see the quantity, what comes next is going to be in parentheses. I wrote these on here so that we could say how they turned out. I'm not going to write the words, but I will say the quantity of 8 plus 7 minus 2. Down here, we would say 4 minus the quantity of 5 plus 2. I can also say 4 minus the quantity of the sum of 5 and 2. So just a little bit different way to say it, but meaning the same thing. You're going to be asked to go both directions. You're going to be asked to look at an expression and write it in words, and you're going to be asked to look at words and write it as an expression. You're also going to be asked to evaluate and simplify expressions. So let's look at the difference real quick. When you're asked to evaluate, as these two, you're going to be given a number that x is equal to, and I want you to take that number and put it in for this x. When you're asked to simplify, notice there's no variable, and you're just going to do the mathematics or simplify those expressions. So let's just get started on that. If I'm going to evaluate this first problem, then I need to say, oh, that x in this expression is going to turn into a 6 because they're telling me x is equal to 6. So I'm going to say 10 minus 6 instead of 10 minus x, and 10 minus 6 is 4. So when I evaluate the expression with x equal to 6, I get 4. The next one simply asks me to simplify. So if I have 16 and I take 7 away from it, I get 9. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I have simplified that big old long expression into simply the number 3. The next one asks me to evaluate again. So I'll take this 3 and put it in for that n. And I hope you remember that we don't get 53, we get 5 times 3. It means when we set them next to each other that we want to multiply them. So I need to say 5 times 3 is 15, and then subtract 2 to get 13. So when I evaluate this expression with n being 3, I get 13. Last one, and here I'm simply simplifying. I look and say 12 minus 4 and get 8 divided by 2. And again, that's the same as 8 divided by 2, which is the same as 8 divided by 2. But in algebra, we're going to be writing it more this way as a fraction. And 8 divided by 2 can be simplified again to the number 4. So I simplified that last one and got the number 4. You will be evaluating and simplifying expressions in your homework assignment. I think you're ready to go and do that. You are able to use symbols to represent unknowns and variables, and you're able to simplify and evaluate polynomial expressions. Big word, isn't it? We'll use it a lot, so you'll catch on to it as we go along. So make sure you go and try the homework. If you have trouble with it, you know where to come to get your questions answered, right? I hope so. We will see you soon. And in the meantime, go get your homework done and take care.